Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of our colors by the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office Color Guard. Please remain standing as the Pledge of Allegiance is led by Girl Scouts Tatiana Conrad and Michaela Smilkstein.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, ladies and gentlemen, as our national anthem is performed by vocalist Jennifer Provy.
Take your time.
Thank you.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing as we retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office Color Guard, courtesy of Sheriff Kirkin Karani. You may be seated at this time. Happy Memorial Day and welcome to our annual Town of Wappinger Memorial Day services. My name is Councilman William Beal, and today, as Deputy Town Supervisor, I'm filling in for our Town Supervisor, Dr. Richard Thurston, who, after a long 2+ years of COVID, had the opportunity to attend a birthday party visit with his children and grandchildren in Pittsburgh. Today, we gather, as we do each year, as a community. We come together as a community of neighbors to recognize those who have gone before us in service to this great nation. Today, this great nation is facing unprecedented challenges as a society. In recent days especially, we must pause and show respect for one another. We must pause and teach our children to always respect one another. In this town, we come together as a community regularly, and we are proud of our events. On behalf of the town board of the town of Wappinger, I thank you for your participation today on this very important day, Memorial Day. Joining me this afternoon, show your appreciation for the following representatives that are here, leaders of our town, representing the 2nd Ward, Councilwoman Angela Bettina. Representing the 4th Ward, Councilman Al Casella. Representing our town in the Dutchess County Legislature, Joseph Cavazzini. Representing our neighboring town, East Fishkill, Councilman A.J. Befan. From the city of Poughkeepsie, Mayor Rob Rollison. Representing the New York State Assembly, Assemblyman Colin Schmidt. Also, doing a lot of the work here today, we must recognize our Director of Recreation, Jessica Fulton. And now a message from Town Supervisor Dr. Richard Thurston. Dear Wappinger residents, we pause today on the last Monday of May to pay our respects for our courageous sons and daughters who sacrificed so much in defense of our homeland. This revered tradition started upon the conclusion of the Civil War when General John A. Logan designated the 30th day of May, 1868 as Decoration Day. He had decided to honor those soldiers who died during the Civil War. The tradition grew throughout the years until the U.S. Congress passed the Uniform Holiday Act in 1968, when Memorial Day was officially recognized to be held on the last Monday in May. This law took effect in 1971. Throughout Wappinger, we have dedicated many memorials and events where and when our sons and daughters are forever remembered. We should pause today to pledge that we will forever honor their legacy. In doing so, let's first reflect on their selflessness, honor, and patriotism that underlies their sacrifices for our community and nation. And please keep in mind that the ongoing sufferings of so many caused by their wartime service, such as exposure to toxic chemicals and gases, such as Agent Orange, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, airborne toxic substances caused by open burn pits, also continue to take their deadly tolls on our heroes long after their official military service has ended. We should not forget the significance of today, as we often are distracted by the barbecues and beach and pool openings on Memorial Day. After all, the greatest disservice to our veterans is to forget the sacrifices that they have made. The respect that we give to our fallen heroes speaks to the value that we place on their service and sacrifices. Whatever you do on Memorial Day, please take a moment to reflect on the significance of the day, our community, and the comforts that our families have experienced as a result of those who gave their lives in service to our country. My very best wishes to all of you for a safe, enjoyable, and above all, meaningful Memorial Day. May God bless America, and may God bless our troops. Dr. Richard Thurston, Supervisor of the town of Wappinger. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the Reverend Dr. Edward L. Hunt leads us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear God, we come from many faith communities. We come to say that we have not forgotten the brave men and women that gave themselves so gallantly to see that this nation could experience freedom. Please, Lord God, according to our faith, we just ask you to keep their memory alive, and let us not forget what they've done for us. And then we pray for their families, for their loss. But we thank you for being God all by yourself. Amen.
It would be appropriate to show your appreciation for Dr. Hunt for his service to this town and the village of Wappingers Falls. You may be seated. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, a tradition continues. The Hudson Valley Council BSA Band, led by Chuck Hauserman, will lead the medley of military service anthems and hymns.
We would like to salute our men and women in service. We ask you to acknowledge yours or loved one's branch of service by standing, waving, singing, and letting us know which service is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, Armed Forces on Parade. Merchant Marine hymn, Heave Ho. The United States Merchant Marines refers to either United States civilian mariners or to U.S. civilian and federally owned merchant vessels. Both the civilian mariners and the merchant vessels are managed by a combination of the government and private sectors and engaged in commerce or transportation of goods and services. We are proud to present Heave ho.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more big round of applause for our military service veterans in attendance here today, as well as the Hudson Valley Council BSA Band led by Chuck Hauserman. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the councilwoman from the 2nd Ward, the Honorable Angela Bettina.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking time to honor our fallen veterans and everything that they have given so we can enjoy the benefits of the best country in the world. God bless America. I just want to introduce our speaker, George Hemroth of the U.S. Navy, past commander of VFW Post 5913. Let's have a round of applause.
Whoa! Bravo!
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm very glad to see such a nice crowd here today. Being a lifetime member of the village and the town, it's always a pleasure to be here to celebrate this day. As past commander of the VFW Post 5913, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, our motto is, we will do anything for our veterans. So when asked to do this speech today, I gladly felt that it was my duty. My own story goes back to the summer of 1966. Having graduated from Ketchum High School, I joined the Navy and would be leaving in September. At the end of August, we had a going away party, a few friends of myself, at one of our local establishments. And two of my other classmates were with us that night. And as we were leaving and saying our goodbyes, as we were all going into the service, we all said that we'd come back together as soon as we finished our service for a nice welcome home party. Shortly thereafter, I was stationed aboard the U.S. Forrestal, which was going to the Gulf of Tonkin off of Vietnam to be the flagship of the 7th Fleet. As we arrived in July of 1967, all went well until the end of the month. While preparing for a launch of a mission to knock out an ammunition depot, one of the missiles on our loaded jet malfunctioned and went flying into a bunch of loaded jets that were on the flight deck. What followed was the largest shipboard fire since World War II. That day, 134 men were lost, and hundreds were wounded. But through the sacrifice that they made, we were able to bring that ship under control and bring it home. On returning home here, I came to find out that I was a village hero, kind of. I'd been written about in the papers. Didn't quite understand why, but I was invited to an awful lot of parties at the time to tell my experience. How did I survive? Well, quite frankly, all I could really tell them was I was just in the right place at the right time. But having told the story so many times, I started to hit that field of depression that so many returning vets go through. Not only that, I realized now that I was going through the PTSD at the time, but we didn't talk about it much back then. I guess we were ashamed at the time. So it got to the point I couldn't talk to other people. I looked good on the outside, but the inside was not feeling good. I felt shamed for being a survivor. I ended up joining other organizations like the VFW, where I could talk to other veterans who were returning and went through even worse things that I'd gone through. Eventually, while talking one day to a couple of vets, an old World War II veteran called me aside and said, "George, let me see you." He said to me, "George, you're a born speaker. Stop worrying about why you survived and tell the story of those who were killed in action so that we may remember them." And so it was. I started to do that. And I started to feel better about myself because I was remembering them. Remember that welcome home party we were going to have with my two buddies? Never happened. Those two friends of mine were Bill Cruzy and Wayne Whiteley, both who were killed in action at Vietnam. I got to know their parents, and we attended many ceremonies together, remembering them. That is why I know right now, in this place, I'm at the right time. Because we in the town of Wappingers, we remember our veterans. That's why we have a March Field, a McDonald's Park, a Garion Park, a Palmetier Park. And that's why I can look out and see the fallen soldier in front of us today and know the meaning of what that is as he kneels there knowing that he would always remember that soldier. That's why we survivors in Wappingers, we remember every American that put a uniform on to do his duty to the best of their ability at any time, in any condition, anywhere in this world. We have to remember. And so as I complete my duty here with our veterans, I ask you to do your duty. To remind others, like yourself, to say thank you to any serviceman you see. It means so much to us just to hear those words, because we are the ones that have to continue to remember those who cannot be here with us today, those who are gone. Those veterans no longer with us. Be proud of your veterans as you see us today, for we are proud to be here with you, and be proud of yourselves for remembering us. I wish to thank you all.
Please join us in rising, standing to salute a true hero. George, we owe you and all those that continue to survive and tell their stories a debt of gratitude. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for Commissioner J. Howard Prager of the New Hackensack Fire District.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the members of the Hackensack Fire Company, I'd just like to welcome everyone here to this year's Memorial Day ceremony. Before the fire company presents the flag this year, I would like to give you a little background about the memorial and then read a little story about Old Glory. Now, for those who might not have ever been here before or those who might not know, this war memorial was built and paid for by past New Hackensack Fire Company members Bill and John Parsons and Bill's wife, Helen. Now, at the time, the New Hackensack Fire Company adopted a resolution to furnish the flags for whenever they were required. As part of that resolution, a tradition started whereby the members of the fire company would present a new flag at each Memorial Day program. As I said, I'm going to give you a little story about Old Glory and how the name came about. You may think that Old Glory is just a fun nickname for the United States flag, but the term once referred to a very special 19th century American flag with quite a story. The original Old Glory survived turbulent seafaring expeditions, touched out a search and destroy mission by a Confederate army, and even withstood a bitter family feud. Old Glory is a story of one man's devotion to the national treasure and an inspiring example of how all Americans who revere their flag. Now, in 1824, William Driver, a merchant seaman from Salem, Massachusetts, assumed command of his own ship, the Charles Dargan, and prepared for his first of many voyages that would take him to faraway places such as China, India, and the South Pacific. To commemorate this special occasion, Driver's mother and several female admirers sewed a 24-star American flag and presented it as a gift to the young captain. During his 20-year career, Driver earned acclaim for steering the ship out of the danger during severe storms, staring down a hostile New Zealand tribal chief, and picking up 65 descendants of survivors of the HMS Bounty. Always flying high above Driver's ship was his favorite flag, which he soon named Old Glory. As Driver once wrote, "It has ever been my staunch companion and protection. Savages and heathens, lowly and oppressed, hailed and welcomed it at the far end of the wide world. Then why should I not call it Old Glory?" Driver cut his seafaring career short when his first wife took ill and died of throat cancer. In 1837, Driver and his 3 young children moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where the retired captain remarried and had several more children. It was no surprise that Driver brought along Old Glory to his new southern home. Driver attached the flag to a rope in his attic window, stretched it across the street on a pulley, and secured it to a locust post on the opposite side of the street. The nation was rapidly expanding during this time, and in 1860, Driver sewed 10 more stars onto the flag, along with a small white anchor at the lower right-hand corner to symbolize his nautical career. Driver, who remained a loyal Unionist during the Civil War, stood up to a group of Confederate soldiers who came to his front door and ordered him to turn over Old Glory. Driver famously told the Confederates, "If you want my flag, you're going to have to take it over my dead body." To safeguard that flag, Driver and several sympathetic women neighbors sewed a secret compartment in a bed quilt to hide Old Glory. It was only when Brigadier General William Bull Nelson and the Union forces captured Nashville that Driver brought the flag out from hiding. To celebrate the occasion, the Union troops flew Old Glory from the Capitol flagstaff. As Driver approached the end of his life, he entrusted the safekeeping of Old Glory to one of his Nashville-born daughters, Mary Jane Rowland. Driver died in 1886, and he was buried in Nashville City Cemetery. Now, Mary Rowland later gave Old Glory as a gift to President Warren G. Harding, who later bequeathed the flag to the Smithsonian Institution. Now, around that time, Harriet Ruth Waters Cook, one of Driver's nieces from Massachusetts, claimed that she was the owner of the original Old Glory. Cook's flag actually was later ended up in a Massachusetts museum. So what happens? Experts analyzed those flags in 2012 and concluded that his daughter, Mary Rowland, probably was the owner of the original Old Glory because it was larger and more weather-worn. However, they did agree at the time that Cook's flag was also a Civil War era artifact and most likely probably was used as a secondary flag by Driver. Well, Old Glory has become so famous that its name is synonymous with the Stars and Stripes and a Star-Spangled Banner. Captain Driver would be tickled red, white, and blue to know that his flag continues to win over the hearts and minds of new generations of America. Thank you.
Please rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the presentation of the colors by the members of the New Hackensack Fire Company. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the officers and members of the New Hackensack Fire Department for their dedicated maintenance and protection of our colors at this monument. You may be seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, welcome vocalist Jennifer Prophy, who will lead us in America the Beautiful. A round of applause for Jennifer Prophy as she walks a mile. I made a glass just to kill time.
Players on the other side. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine.
You may be seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for U.S. Navy veteran Kevin Haythorne, president of the Wappinger Veterans Advisory Group.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Opportunity, legacy, duty, purpose, patriotism. The reasons behind choosing military service differ from person to person, but as varied as those reasons are, there's a universal understanding. Service means sacrifice, even if that sacrifice is one's own life, and we know that we were trained that way. The impact of this ultimate sacrifice ripples through our communities, as we see today. Service members' deaths touch more than just the lives of their loved ones and friends. When their stories are shared in our neighborhoods, our homes, our schools, and our places of worship, these men and women become part of the collective identity of our hometowns. The stories of their sacrifices live on in the pride of memories of their loved ones and in observances and through inscriptions on memorials and plaques dedicated to the legacy of this generation. I've got 7 more pages to read, but we'll stop right there. What I would like to do is I would like to read the names of our veterans, sorry about that, our veterans in our local graves. The very first veteran I would like to mention is Royal C.H. Cincanelli, Air Force veteran, who passed away on active duty. And the rest of them are here someplace. And obviously, this is something you don't want to have happen to you when you're standing at a podium in 90-degree weather. Unfortunately, it did. So I have one veteran's name, and I've been trying to do this now for 3 years. I have only one veteran's name in this pack of stuff here from Slate Funeral Burial Ground. Not the funeral burial ground, but the Slate burial ground. It's Abraham Slate, who died in 1842, June 29th, at 88 years and 2 days. He was born in 1754. He was the son of Abraham Slate, was baptized in Kingston, New York. He made his home in Fishkill. It was actually what's considered LaGrange today. He served 3 enlistments in the Revolutionary War. One was with the Dutchess County Militia, 2nd Regiment, and another one with the 6th Regiment of the same. He was placed on the pension rolls in 1632. In the 1790 census, he was listed as of Poughkeepsie, New York, and in the 1800 census, his name appears under Fishkill. He died 29 June 1842 and was buried on the Slate Farm, the town of Wappinger's New Hackensack. I apologize. Next year, again, I'll be reading all of the names of our fallen veterans that we have buried in the town of Wappinger. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our wreath presentation. If you could please rise at this time. Jessica Fulton will be reading the names of those that will be escorting each wreath and what that wreath represents.
Thank you very much. Every year this is something that we like to do to show all of the different kinds of veterans organizations and military family organizations that are here in the town of Wappinger and in the surrounding community. So this year we are laying 4 wreaths. Our first wreath will be carried by Kevin Hathorn, who you just heard speak, U.S. Navy, Philip Dew, Specialist, U.S. Army, and someone who's very special to me as a member of the Town of Wappinger Senior Center. I see him every day. Francis Bud Farrell, AO, Petty Officer 2nd Class in the U.S. Navy, and they are advancing the wreath on behalf of the veterans of the Town of Wappinger. Our next wreath is for the Gold Star families, and walking on behalf of the Gold Star families advancing the wreath are Gary Palmatier and Royal D. Cincanelli. On behalf of the Blue Star Mothers, an organization for mothers with active service members, this is Anne Marie Bible advancing the wreath for the Blue Star Mothers. And we're going to make a second attempt for my buddy Bud Farrell, but on behalf of the Wappingers, Morris, Goring, Cooks, American Legion Post 427, we have George Hemroth, who you just heard speak, and his wife Susie Hemroth, past president of the VFW Ladies Auxiliary, with Bud Farrell. Anne Marie Bible of the Blue Star Mothers.
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Bible. I am with the Blue Star Mothers, and for those of you who don't know, I have a little history. So on January 22nd in 1942, the Flint News Advisor printed an ad asking mothers of servicemen to fill out and return a coupon. The following February 1st, 1943, 300 mothers met in Durant Hotel in Flint, Michigan. Captain George Maines conceived the idea for this group and acted as the chair of their first meeting. After receiving 1,000 responses from the ad, a permanent organization for military mothers began. On February 6, 1943, the organization was reported on Congressional Record. Chapters formed across the United States. In June of 1960, the organization was chartered by Congress. Mothers volunteered throughout tough times of World War II. The organization waned in size over the years, but was held together by mothers showing pride in both their children and country. As a result, we have many, many chapters across the U.S. today, and we're celebrating our 77th year. We are mothers of all branches of active duty, and unfortunately sometimes one of our sons does not come home and they move over to Gold Star. So today I would like to invite Mr. and Mrs. Cincanelli to come up because I have a Gold Star flag to present to them. Their son was Royal Cincanelli, and he died last year during active service. He is a Wappingers resident. And on behalf of a very grateful nation, we express our sincere condolences, and we thank you for your son's service.
Each year to challenge timing the national moment of remembrance exactly at 3 o'clock. We may be off by 1 or 2 minutes, but it would be appropriate at this time, at this portion of our program to conduct that moment and to lead us is the councilman from the 4th Ward, the Honorable Al Casella.
Good afternoon. I've got to stall for about a minute or two, but we're going to try to go through this anyway. Anyway, I'm here for the moment of remembrance. On December 28th, the year 2000, by Public Law 106-579, the White House Commission on the National Moment of the Remembrance Act was established to remind all Americans of the importance of remembering those who sacrificed for their freedom and what it means to be an American today. It was created to provide Americans throughout the world to join the expression of gratitude in an act of unity. The moment of remembrance serves to make Memorial Day relevant, especially to younger Americans. In 1996, the idea of the moment was born when children touring Washington, D.C. were asked, "What does Memorial Day mean to you?" They responded, "That's the day the pool's open." Along with other Americans, you are asked to spend a moment of remembrance on Memorial Day at 3 p.m. So in about a minute or so, we'll have a moment of silence. 3 p.m. was chosen because it is the time when many Americans are enjoying their freedoms together on a national holiday. Is it intended to be a unifying act of remembrance for all Americans of all ages? And while today we are together here for the Memorial Day ceremony, observing this moment of remembrance, you may pause for the moment wherever you happen to be, whether you're alone or with others during Memorial Day. You may observe it in your own way, at your own moment, pausing for whatever you're doing for the moment, or whether it's a moment of silence or you're listening to taps. As you participate in this moment, you are helping reclaim Memorial Day for the noble and sacred reason for which it was intended, to honor those who died in service of our nation. Americans of every age are invited to participate. At exactly 3 p.m., we will all stand and recognize the moment of remembrance with the ringing of the bell. Just a few more seconds. We apologize. Guess I read a little too fast. I apologize again. Can everybody please rise, please? Bow your heads, please. Okay, Bill's all set. Go ahead. Thank you very much, everybody. You may be seated. And thank you very much for attending our service today. We do appreciate it. And we're so grateful that so many people came out here today to help us remember. Thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, Vincent M. Richards, the Hudson Valley Council BSA Band, will lead us in taps. Please rise. Thank you. You may be seated.
I didn't write the script. I feel like I'm at Catholic church right now.
Okay. It's hard to believe that in just a few short months, it will have been 21 years since one of our country's darkest days, September 11, 2001. In just a few short months, this town will join our nation in pausing and remembering that dark day, as we do each year. The Sergeant Mark C. Palmatier 9/11 Memorial Park, located on Route 9 near Old Hopewell Road, in front of Sergeant Palmatier Way, marks this moment in time. The park contains a 2,700-pound, 13-foot section of World Trade Center steel, recovered from Ground Zero in the days following 9/11. The steel is positioned within the park in memory of all of the victims, including first responders and service members who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, and in the days, weeks, months, and years following. We are still losing heroes from 9/11 related illness. This park is named for the first Dutchess County soldier to make the ultimate sacrifice in the War on Terror, U.S. Army Sergeant Mark C. Palmatier, originally from Houstonville. He lost his life on June 26, 2008, serving our country during Operation Enduring Freedom. Mark was assigned to the 2nd Squadron, 101st Cavalry Regiment, New York Army National Guard. He lost his life when his convoy encountered improvised explosive devices, small arms fire, and rocket-propelled grenades. Also killed in that attack were Sergeant First Class Matthew L. Hilton and Sergeant First Class Joseph McKay. We will forever be in debt to Sergeant Palmatier and his comrades who made this ultimate sacrifice. This beautiful park continues to evolve each year. Most recently, new granite benches were installed. Additional benches have been approved by the town board, and each bench will be inscribed with the name of a military branch. I encourage you to attend our town's 9/11 service held on September 11th each year at 8:30 a.m. You can support the efforts at this park by purchasing a paver. Forms are available at the town clerk's office, or speak to me after the ceremony. Now, for many years, until her passing, Sergeant Palmatier's stepmother Jane attended this service each year, representing Gold Star mothers and advancing the Gold Star wreath. And just earlier, Sergeant Palmatier's brother Gary was joined by his granddaughter Amelia Palmatier, advancing that wreath. And as we've heard earlier, unfortunately, we had an opportunity to add yet another family to this process of advancing this Gold Star wreath. Joining Sergeant Palmatier's brother Gary was Royal D. Cinquinelli, who advanced the wreath in honor of his son, Royal Charles Henry Cinquinelli, a 21-year-old Beacon native who lost his life in a motor vehicle accident while serving in the United States Air Force. Let us especially remember these Gold Star families on this Memorial Day. Thank you. As you've heard, we have many veterans initiatives and assistance programs here in the town, and to highlight just a few of those, representing the Town of Wappinger Veterans Advisory Group, U.S. Army Specialist Philip Dew, Operations Manager of the Wappinger Veterans Advisory Group. A round of applause for Philip Dew.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of this beautiful afternoon where everyone is barbecuing, enjoying a cool beer while you come here and stand with us in recognition and honor those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. I'd like to take just a moment to recognize all those among us who have served or are currently serving, as well as any here who have lost their loved ones in service. We're humbled by your sacrifice. As we know that they are great, we commend the demonstrations of courage and strength you have gone through throughout this most difficult times. So for the past 2 years, the Wappinger Veterans Advisory has been blessed with a strong support from the members of the community and the leaders of Wappinger. And we have grown to be the premier service organization of this region. And all of our achievements stem from the dedication and hard work of you, our residents, fellow veterans, volunteers, and sponsors. Thank you so much for giving the generous of your time and effort. It really pays off for everyone we serve. In recognition of our volunteers who contributed their time, finance, and efforts, we have been certified to issue the Presidential Volunteer Service Awards, the highest honor in the United States to recognize volunteer service in the local community. As the certifying organization, Wappinger Veterans Advisory believes that our volunteers deserve no less than the highest volunteer service awards in the nation, because our volunteers are serving the heroes who took the oath and willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice to our country. To learn more about how to become our volunteers, please see me afterwards. One thing you may have noticed there are beautiful banners on the side of the road since last year. It is one of our first projects in town of Wappinger called the Hometown Hero Project. These hometown heroes are our inspirations. They're not just the statistics, they're not just a casualty. They fought for the country and the loved ones who live in our town. There are no better ways to honor them than putting up the banner for them. Today, I'm happy to announce that the Wappinger Veterans Advisory will be providing a free Hometown Hero banner for Jim Sweeney of Wappinger Falls, who passed away on March 6, 2021 after a long battle against service-related illness due to his assignment to Ground Zero in 2001. We're also donating another banner to honor U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Roy Sicanelli of Fishkill, who suddenly passed away on April 24, 2021 due to a tragic accident while serving on active duty at the age of 21. We're proud to have those heroes in our community, and we're grateful for their sacrifice forever. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, WVA also manages Wappinger Veterans Trust Fund program for charities and donations. Every year, WVA will organize a 5K run and walk event to raise money for this fund. This year, we're able to raise over $8,000 thanks to our residents, volunteers, generous donors, and sponsors. With all of their support, we are able to support the VA Castle Point Food Pantry, getting motorized wheelchairs and scooters for our veterans, and provide additional services to veterans in the town of Wappinger and throughout the Hudson Valley region. One of our greatest challenges in our organization is to ensure that the federal government is holding on to their end of the deal when our service members return to Wappinger from war. In partnership with the Disabled American Veterans, WVA's Veterans Clinic program has assisted almost 200 veterans and families to file VA benefit claims, as well as answering their questions and providing guidance on how to obtain those benefits that they're entitled to. We chose DAV because the recognition of their service officer training program is widely known across the country. Many of our veterans have already received increase of their disability rating because of their visit to our clinic. In addition, we co-sponsored the full-day VA benefit information seminar just last Wednesday with the DAV. We have over 50 veterans and family members attended the event from all over the Hudson Valley region. We're planning on expanding this program to our neighboring towns in the coming year. At this moment, I'd like to call WVA President Kevin Hathorn to the podium, and the Disabled American Veterans Castle Point Chapter 144, who are here among us. In recognition of the outstanding service program and transportation network to help aid and assist veterans in the town of Wappinger and improve their quality of lives, the Wappinger Veterans Advisory, in the name of the town of Wappinger, is pleased to provide a $1,500 to strengthen those programs to further help aid and assist our veterans in the town of Wappinger.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, okay. Take this so I keep.
We'll take it and we will have a real check.
Hope you got a cash. Thank you. I'm going to thank you.
Okay.
And everybody.
No problem, sir. When we went through that moment of silence, please think about the momentum we can build and hope and comfort that we can provide to those veterans who served our great nation. We owe all of our fellow deceased and disabled veterans and their families the very best town of Wappinger has to offer. Once again, thank you sincerely for all that you do. May God bless America, and especially those men and women who have been to an undiscovered country whose born no traveler returns. Thank you.
A big round of applause for our Wappinger Veterans Advisory Group. Ladies and gentlemen, doing such great work for our veterans. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Dr. Edward L. Hunt will offer a benediction for this year's ceremony.
Let us prepare ourselves for prayer. Dear God, we thank you for allowing us to be here today. We thank you for reminding us to remember those who have fallen. This program, dear Lord, has ended, and we shall depart from this location, but not from your presence. Help us in all that we do to remember the sacrifice that has been made for us as we do all that we can to make this country continue to be as great as she is. We pray this prayer in your name, dear God. Amen.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate that. And folks, if you could just take a seat for just a moment, just for some closing remarks here that are very important. Before we thank everyone that made this event possible, it is important that I mention an issue that we don't like to talk about, but we must. On this Memorial Day, we must remember veteran suicide is one of the greatest crises of our time. Since September 11, 2001, over 30,000 veterans have taken their own lives. That is 4 times the number of U.S. military personnel who died in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 2019, the most recent year of data available from the Department of Veteran Affairs, we lost 6,261 military service members. This number was 22 per day. It has now fallen to 17 per day. Although this number represents a 7% decrease from the previous year, any number is too high and is a tragedy. The number has decreased because of public awareness. It is our responsibility as a community to watch over each other. We have a responsibility to reduce this number, and I stand before you today in an effort to raise awareness in our community. We must continue to do good work in our town for our veterans, and I thank the Wappinger Veterans Advisory Group for everything they do. Together, we must do all we can to reduce that number. On behalf of the town board of the town of Wappinger, ladies and gentlemen, as we close this year's ceremony, we need to give a round of applause to Chuck Hauserman and the Hudson Valley Council BSA Band for the great music they provide each year. We also need to thank the members of the New Hackensack Fire Company for their service to our community and their diligence with handling the colors on this beautiful monument. Again, we need to thank U.S. Navy veteran Kevin Haythorne and U.S. Army veteran Philip Dew for their service to our country and our Wappinger community. A round of applause. And a big shout out to Jessica Fulton, our recreation director, who pulls it all together and makes this happen. Give her a round of applause for her hard work. And last but certainly not least, leading us in God Bless America, our beautifully sounding vocalist, second to none. Start walking down because it's a long walk. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Brophy. Memorial Day.
All right.
Thank you, Bill. Good job.
Is it hot enough? Is it hot enough for you?
All right.